Hi, welcome to this SQL tutorial video, and today I thought I'd create a video that just explains a little bit more about how SQL can be used. I wasn't sure really how to kind of label this video, but I'm just going to show you different ways, or particularly a different way of how we can use SQL. So let me just begin. I've got a select on screen from the table called email addresses. Now, as I've said in previous videos, SQL's kind of built in chunks. So you've got, first of all, you've got what data you want to return to screen. What data you want to see, and that's your select. And your select can be a list of columns, it can be functions, it can be all sorts of different things. But generally, it's a select. Then where the information is. So that's going to be from a particular table, possibly joining to another table, possibly joining to another table. But your second part is where's the data. Then you've got a third bit that are your conditions, which is your where. And then you might have a fourth section that maybe orders the data. Depending on your data you're returning, you might need to group it. But it's built in sections. Generally, it will require at least two sections. What data you want to see and where is it. But you don't actually have to have that second section. The select will return whatever follows the select to screen. So in this example, it actually won't work because star means a wildcard, and it means everything. So select everything from my table, that's fine, it'll return everything. However, if I just select everything, well, that doesn't make any sense, and sure enough, if I try and run that, it's going to say I don't know what that is. But I can change that. I can say just return the word here. I can say return the number 1. And whatever follows the select, it will return it. I can do functions if I wanted to. Yeah, so anything that follows a select, it will return. Now you might think, well, that's not particularly useful, but let's try and get some sort of working example for this. So select that from person email address. Let's add to that. Let's give it a condition. Where modified date is between. We're going to use the DATEADD function, and I've done a video on this previously. I'll put a link to it in the description of this one. So DATEADD -10, and then GETDATE, which we've talked about in the previous video as well. And DATEADD year -8 GETDATE. So what this should say is get me everything where the date modified is between 10 years ago and 8 years ago from today. So if I run that, hopefully we'll get some data. Okay. But it isn't necessarily clear what these values are. Yeah, we've calculated them, but we don't really know what these values are. And we can add them to this select if we wanted to, but let us do this. So we'll create a couple of variables and we will give them these values. So now I can do a select, and I can do select from date to date. And I can now see my date range, but then I can change that. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just copy the whole lot again, and we'll change this to be Now if I run this, what we're seeing here is the results of our variables, the content of our variables, and the results of the SQL, and then the content of our variables here, and the results of our SQL. So if you've got some sort of stored procedure function, just a large piece of SQL that is using variables, and variables where the value may change throughout your SQL, this is a kind of a nifty way of error handling, or maybe just monitoring the information that's held in those variables as it goes through. Now actually, those of you that were observant probably will notice that my results wouldn't have changed because I didn't actually use my variables within my SQL. So I'll just do that quickly, and in fact what I'll probably do is just to make it a little bit neater, so hopefully we'll get different values. That's better. So that was the reason for this video, just to kind of show you that you don't actually need to have a from element of your select. You can just do select and it will just return it to screen. I hope you found it helpful, useful. If you've got any comments or questions on it, please leave them. Any feedback's appreciated. Thanks for your time. See you next time.